The lock portion of the safe is the first part we make, and we're going to cut out these inside pieces that are that form the tumblers and the pivot for this. And we'll use the legacy CNC. To cut the other pieces out, we'll use another CNC, which is another video. So we're going to start out with this machine. It's controlled by this computer right here with the keyboard and all that fun stuff. And this is the machine right here. This right here is the motor that does the cutting. Down below here, right here, is the bit. And these are just motors that control the XY, the gantry, X, Y, and Z. Then the material we're going to cut goes right here. This introduction isn't to teach you all about CNCs. This is just how to fire it up and run the program. Okay, now to fire up the program, we're using what's called the Mach 3 loader. And you click on that. We're going to be using the ARTI. Now, one thing you need to do is you need to come over and hit this switch right there. And that fires it up. The CNC, it's going to come up and give you this menu right here. First thing you want to do is hit reset. And it's going to ask you, do you want to reference the machine? All machines have to be referenced when you first turn them on, and that's very important. You'll see right here the head is moving, and it's done its thing. Now it's done its referencing. Now it's going to ask if you want to warm up the spindle. We only warm up the spindle, go through that cycle about once a week, so don't worry about that right now. Hit no. The machine has been referenced. Find the center of your piece of wood. You just measure it. This measures 7 1/4. Half of 7 1/4 is 3 5/8. Double check it by measuring from both directions. This right here is 10 and let's say an 1/8. I'm going to go 5 and a 1/16. So I now have a mark for the center of my piece of wood. Now we take the piece of wood, come over here, put your piece here, tight against here, make sure there's no gaps in here. Slide this piece up to it, bring this up to it with this handle horizontal, and then you pretty much just push that, and that locks this piece in place. Now the next thing we need to do is find tell the machine that that is the center of what we're going to be cutting. The head, all we do, it's kind of like a video game, just hit the arrow key, and that moves it down there. The other arrow key, you can zoom in on that, and I use the page down key. And take it easy. You're not in a big rush here. You can jam this thing and you can break the bit, or you can ruin your material if you push it too hard and too fast. So take it slow and easy. Try to get it right dead on the center of your mark there. And I'll have to readjust this just a little bit. And oftentimes, just by tapping the key, you can bring it down. And so I'm just trying to zoom in here as much as I can so you can kind of get an idea. You want that to be, has to be right on, has to just be touching the material. And if it's not, then what's going to happen is your cut will not be very, you have a lot more work in cleaning it up, or you can cut through. One of the best ways to determine if it's right is you can just take a piece of paper. In this case, I'm just going to use $1. And I'm going to put that in there, and I'm just going to touch the page down key just ever so slightly. And I'm going to have this $1 in here. I'm going to be moving it. Touch it just. And be moving it. And as soon as it quits moving, you know you're touching the material. And that's what you want to be on it. So I've got the thing zeroed out right there. Now I have to tell the machine. Okay, after you've got that over there, you come over here and you hit X, Y, Z. And what that has done is zeroed all those out. So that's the 0, 0, 0 point. Now I can come right down here to all right, after you zero it out, you got 0, 0, 0, hit park spindle. And what that has done is you can see these numbers up here have changed. And what that's done is brought the entire head back to the initial referencing point. And so when we run our file, let's load that code again. The computer crashed on me, so I'm going to have to reload that. Okay. Okay, so I've got it's referenced. I have it park spindle. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit constant velocity. That green light needs to be on. And once you've got that, you can go ahead and there's no reason you can't just go ahead and hit cycle start. It's going to pop up and say OK or press enter for tool change. Just hit OK. And now it's going to come over here and do its thing. And all that's going to do is bring it back to the home position. And you're done. And that's pretty much it for the software. Someone else, if they're going to do the same thing, all they have to do is put their piece in there, hit cycle start, and it'll cut it out. Just like it just did, but it doesn't have to go through all the setup. Piece. And you can see what it is. It's kind of rough. I would sand that before you start cutting the pieces out. But that's the image with all the bridges held in place. I would call this a perfect cut. My depth was right, everything was correct. So this is exactly what I want.